This February has been a very difficult month for the whole world. Earthquakes, forest fires, floods, and hurricanes. These are far from all the cataclysms that hit our Earth. Terrible news about casualties and destruction comes every day from different parts of the world. In this video, I'll show you what's going with our planet right now. Living people are still being pulled out from under the rubble after the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. At the same time, seismologists record that new earthquakes continue in Turkey and Syria. Fortunately, they are not as powerful and destructive as they used to be. Let me remind you that Turkey and Syria were struck by 7.8 and 7.6 magnitude earthquakes on February 6. New tremors are recorded in the central and southern regions of Turkey. A small earthquake was also recorded in Syria. Another earthquake was recorded in the state of New York on the 7th of February. Actually, compared with the natural disaster in Turkey, it was only a slight shaking. It was a 3.8 magnitude earthquake. However, this is the strongest earthquake that has been recorded in the northwestern part of the state in the last 40 years. Fortunately, there were no reports of damage. Japan's Sakurajima volcano erupted on February 8th. It is one of the most active volcanoes in Japan. Smoke from one of the craters of the volcano rose to a height of 1 kilometer. However, no evacuation was announced in the villages adjacent to Sakurajima. In addition, there is no information yet on the impact on air traffic in the region. Storm Barbara hits Israel's coast. In Ashdod, southern Israel, a storm caused scaffolding to collapse at a construction site, damaging a power line. It is snowing heavily in the Golan Heights in the northeast of the country, which has closed the main ski resort on Mount Hermon to visitors. In the south of Peru, as a result of heavy rains, a landslide descended, burying hundreds of houses under it. The Peruvian army sent helicopters to the region with humanitarian aid, drinking water, and sandbags. In the mountainous regions of the country, the foundations of houses were washed away. About 200 residential buildings simply collapsed. Search and rescue work continues. Heavy rains caused widespread flooding in southern and central Scotland. The water eroded the soil and triggered landslides. Many roads were closed. Because of the flood, the trains also did not run on schedule. Forecasters said the cyclone, which caused a cold snap in the U.S. at Christmas, was the cause of unsettled weather in the U.K. Tropical Cyclone Cody has caused strong winds and heavy rains that have led to widespread flooding in Fiji. The water damaged several power lines. Schools have suspended their work. Some school buildings are used as evacuation centers. About 4,000 local residents had to be evacuated. Snowstorm paralyzed life in Athens. Due to heavy snowfall and a sharp drop in air temperature, schools and shops in the Greek capital had to be closed. Inclement weather was brought to the country by Storm Barbara, as a result of which traffic was stopped on some central roads and on the national road connecting Athens with central Greece. Some metro stations were also closed, and trains to the northern city of Thessaloniki were also suspended. In early February, the city of Mudanjiang, China's Heilongjiang province experienced its first heavy snowfall of the year. Shuangfeng Forest Farm is known to many as the Snow City of China. A huge number of tourists from different parts of the country come here to admire the realm of ice and snow. In some regions, snowdrifts a meter high have formed. Many roads had to be closed. Novorossiysk, Russian Federation, was hit by a hurricane. Part of the roof was ripped off the apartment building by gusts of wind. It was blown into the nearby streets. Residents were asked to be careful. Because of the strong wind, trees fell on roads, gas pipes, cars. Lifeguards worked all day. Last weekend at several ski resorts in the Alps in Austria, Italy, and Switzerland, tourists were affected by avalanches. The Austrian authorities have introduced the fourth, the second most dangerous, the level of the threat of avalanches, which means their high probability. Avalanche danger has increased after heavy snowfalls and strong winds that hit the historic region of Tyrol, located in Austria and northern Italy. At the beginning of this year, after heavy rain and flooding of the rivers, large-scale flooding began in Bolivia. Both residential buildings and agricultural land were under threat. More than 5,000 people were forced to leave their homes. Animals tried to escape by climbing up the hills. Many families have lost their homes. Their times were settled in evacuation camps. In the mountains of Sochi, snowfall does not stop. Mountain resorts independently decide on the opening and closing of trails based on data from meteorologists and avalanche services. In some areas, there were snowdrifts 2 meters high. Forecasters warn of possible avalanches. Heavy snowfall and blizzards leave thousands of homes without electricity in Serbia and Romania. Many roads were closed due to snowdrifts, fallen trees, and poles. The element manifested itself most strongly in the western mountainous regions of Serbia, as well as in the central part of the country. Road services clear roads while electricians are working on troubleshooting. About 200 million Americans were in the zone of influence of a powerful winter storm. Low temperatures provoked a rather rare phenomenon, the steam devil, a funnel formed over Lake Champlain. Although the steam devil visually resembles a waterspout, they are two different phenomena. The steam devil only occurs at very low temperatures, and the funnel draws in steam, not water. Slovakia was covered by a snowstorm. In the northwest of the country, people were urged to stay at home. The wind speed in the Tatra Mountains reached more than 120 kilometers per hour. Visibility on the roads was almost zero, so an accident occurred between the cities of Prayasiv and Poprad. Luckily, police said the injuries were not serious. The first level of danger is valid on the roads in the areas of Poprad, Kesmarska, and Staraya Lubov. The emergency situation has been in effect in the city of Svit since February 3rd. Snowfall in Atarau, Kazakhstan caused power and internet problems. Due to unfavorable weather conditions, students of all grades study online. However, not everyone has the opportunity to even turn on the computer. Due to a sharp change in weather conditions, strong gusty winds with snow, emergency power outages have become more frequent. So much snow fell in this region for the first time. Residents of Canada are also suffering due to problems with electricity. Due to strong winds, freezing rain and snow, numerous power lines in the east of the country were damaged. Repair crews have been fixing the problems for several days, but so far they have not been able to return electricity to every home.